In a world where constant distractions pull us in different directions, where we are always connected but still feel distant, how can we cultivate relationships that genuinely matter? How can we command the respect and attention of those around us without being overbearing, needy, or manipulative? The ancient wisdom of Stoicism offers profound answers to these modern challenges. Imagine being someone whose presence is sought after, whose opinions are valued, and whose time is respected. What if you could foster deeper connections with those around you while maintaining your own inner peace and autonomy? This is not about playing games or pretending to be something you're not. It's about cultivating your virtues, mastering your inner world, and allowing your true self to shine through naturally. In today's video, we will dive into 5 Stoic principles that can transform the way others perceive and value you. By watching until the end, you'll learn how to foster independence, practice patience, create a sense of mystery, and more. These timeless techniques can elevate your presence, making you a priority in the lives of others while maintaining your inner tranquility. Let's begin this transformative journey, and I promise you, if you stay with me until the end, you'll leave with practical strategies to apply Stoicism in your daily life, allowing you to build stronger, more authentic connections that lead to a deeper sense of self-worth. 1. Embrace independence. Command respect by standing firm in your principles. In a world where people constantly seek validation from others, how can we rise above this? The Stoics teach us that true independence isn't about cutting ourselves off from others, but about mastering our inner world. It's about living according to our own values and not being swayed by the expectations of others. But how do we achieve this? How can we foster the kind of independence that draws respect? Independence begins within. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." What does this mean? It means we must take the time to understand who we are, what we stand for, and what principles we will live by. Are you living by your own values, or are you constantly bending to the will of others, trying to fit in or be liked? Think about this. When you meet someone who knows what they believe in, who makes decisions based on their own convictions, don't you naturally respect them more? That's because independence draws admiration. It's not about arrogance, but about authenticity. When we show that we can stand firm, even when the world around us is chaotic, people begin to notice. Stoicism teaches that independence is not about isolating ourselves. Instead, it's about being a person of substance. Are you able to say no when needed? Can you set boundaries that protect your time and energy? Or do you find yourself saying yes to everything, even when it conflicts with your own well-being? The power of no is one of the greatest tools you have at your disposal. The next time someone asks for your time or attention, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, is this in line with my values? Is this the best use of my time right now? If the answer is no, then practice saying it. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but with time, people will respect you more for it. Why? Because your time and energy are precious, and when you treat them that way, others will too. Independence also fosters integrity. When you live according to your own convictions, people begin to trust you more. They see you as someone who can be relied upon because you are true to your word and your principles. Think about someone in your life whom you admire for their integrity. How does their steadfastness affect the way you view them? This is what Stoic independence is all about, living in such a way that others respect your decisions, even if they don't always agree with them. But independence is not just about standing firm in the face of others' expectations. It's also about having the courage to be yourself in a world that often demands conformity. Can you imagine how freeing it would be to stop worrying about what others think of you? To make choices based on your own values, not the fleeting opinions of those around you? The great Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius once said, It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own. How often do we sacrifice our independence for the sake of approval? This is the challenge of living in accordance with Stoicism, to choose your own path, even when it's not popular. Living independently doesn't mean you should never accept help or support from others. Stoicism acknowledges that human beings are interdependent by nature. The key is to engage in relationships from a position of strength and self-awareness rather than neediness. When you cultivate your independence, you can give freely to others because you are not relying on their approval for your sense of self-worth. By living independently, by mastering your own mind and actions, you become a person who commands respect. You become someone others look to for guidance, not because you demand it, but because your life reflects integrity, strength, and purpose. And this, my friends, is the foundation of being truly valued by others. Now that we've explored the power of independence, let's move to another critical aspect of becoming more valued in the eyes of others, the virtue of patience. How can mastering this seemingly simple skill change the way people perceive and interact with you? Stay with me and you'll see. 2. Cultivate patience, the quiet strength that demands respect. Patience is often misunderstood as passive waiting or a lack of urgency. But in Stoicism, patience is a profound and active force, a vital skill that gives us the power to remain calm and composed, even in the most turbulent of circumstances. Have you ever noticed how rare patience is in today's fast-paced world? Everyone is rushing, seeking instant gratification, and reacting impulsively. So, how can the practice of patience help us stand out and be more valued by others? Imagine for a moment being the person who, amidst the chaos, remains calm. Picture yourself in a situation where others are frustrated, losing their composure, and reacting emotionally. Yet there you are, serene and thoughtful, responding with clarity. Doesn't that image inspire a sense of respect? Patience is not about inactivity. It's about choosing the right moment to act, and acting from a place of inner peace. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca reminds us, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Are you the master of your emotions, or do they control you? When we practice patience, we develop emotional mastery. It's easy to react in the heat of the moment, but it takes strength and discipline to pause, reflect, and then respond. And in that pause lies our power. Stoicism teaches that we cannot control what happens to us, but we can always control how we respond. Life will throw challenges our way, difficult people, frustrating situations, and unexpected delays. Will we allow these external factors to dictate our mood and actions, or will we maintain control over our inner world? This is where patience becomes not just a virtue, but a shield. Now, let's reflect on this. How often do we find ourselves rushing into conversations, trying to fill silences, or reacting without fully considering our words? Stoicism encourages us to embrace the art of listening and thoughtful silence. When you practice patience in conversation, allowing others to speak and listening attentively, you signal to them that their words matter. Isn't that something we all crave? To be heard, to be understood. Think about your own interactions. Do you value the people who are constantly interrupting, rushing to speak? Or do you value those who take the time to truly listen before offering their thoughts? By practicing patience, you not only build your own inner strength, but also make others feel more valued. In turn, they will value you more. But patience isn't just about listening to others. It's also about waiting for the right moment to act. In today's world, we are often pressured to respond quickly. Whether it's an email, a message, or a demand for our attention, there's a sense that we must be available at all times. But does constant immediacy lead to better outcomes? Or does it diminish the quality of our responses? Consider this. When you give yourself the space to pause, to think, and to act with intention, you are signaling to others that your time and attention are valuable. You are showing them that you won't be rushed into decisions or actions without careful consideration. In doing so, you gain their respect. People will begin to see you as someone who acts with wisdom and restraint rather than impulsiveness. Stoicism also teaches that patience can help us endure difficult situations with grace. Life is unpredictable, and challenges will come our way. How we handle these moments determines how others perceive us. Have you ever admired someone who, despite facing adversity, remains composed and calm? That is the power of patience in action. When we are patient in adversity, we become a source of strength for those around us. Others will look to us for guidance, not because we are unaffected by difficulties, but because we have learned how to weather the storm without losing ourselves in it. This quiet strength is what makes us truly valuable to others. As you cultivate patience, ask yourself, what would happen if I waited just a moment longer before reacting? How would my relationships change if I listened more and spoke less? Could I become the person others look to for calm and stability in difficult times? At this point, you might be wondering how to begin practicing patience. Start small. The next time you feel the urge to react impulsively, pause, breathe, reflect on what truly matters in that moment. Is the situation really as urgent as it seems? Does it require an immediate response, or can you afford to take a step back and give yourself the space to act with intention? Patience, like any skill, requires practice. You will have moments of frustration. You will feel the pull to act immediately. But remember, every time you choose patience, you are not only strengthening your own character, but also enhancing how others see and value you. As we conclude this reflection on patience, consider how you can apply this principle in your life today. Can you begin to incorporate more mindful pauses in your interactions? Can you listen more, react less, and act from a place of inner calm? If these ideas resonate with you, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. How do you practice patience in your daily life? What challenges have you faced in developing this virtue? Your insights could inspire others who are on the same journey of personal growth through Stoicism. Now, let's move on to another crucial element of being valued by others: learning to manage your availability. How can you create a sense of scarcity and importance without becoming distant? Let's explore that next. 3. Practice selective availability. Value your time and others will too. In today's hyper-connected world, availability is often mistaken for value. We are expected to respond immediately, to be constantly reachable, and to always say yes when others demand our time. But have you ever considered that by being always available, you might actually be diminishing your worth in the eyes of others? Stoicism teaches us that time is one of our most valuable resources. Seneca famously wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." How much of your time do you give away freely without considering its value? And how often do you find yourself overwhelmed because you've said yes to too many things? One of the core principles of Stoicism is learning to manage our resources wisely, and time is perhaps the most precious of all. When you practice selective availability, you teach others to respect your time by demonstrating that it is valuable. This doesn't mean you should become aloof or distant, but rather that you should be intentional with your commitments. Think about it. When someone is always available, don't we start to take them for granted? On the other hand, when a person is more selective with their time, we tend to appreciate their presence more when they do show up. This is the power of selective availability. Ask yourself, how often do you say yes to things that drain your energy and time? How many times have you overcommitted, only to feel resentful or exhausted later? Stoicism teaches us the importance of setting boundaries, not out of selfishness, but out of self-respect. Imagine this. You receive a request for your time. Perhaps it's a work obligation, a social gathering, or a favor from a friend. Before automatically saying yes, pause for a moment and ask yourself, is this the best use of my time? Will this bring value to my life or help me align with my personal goals and principles? If the answer is no, then practice saying no. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but with time, people will begin to respect your boundaries. By practicing selective availability, you create a sense of scarcity around your time and attention, which naturally increases its value. People will begin to notice that when you do show up, you are fully present and engaged. They will learn to appreciate your presence more, knowing that it is not something to be taken lightly. At this point, it's important to remember that Stoicism is not about manipulating others or playing games with your availability. It's about respecting your own time and energy, and in doing so, teaching others to do the same. The goal is to foster relationships where both parties value each other's presence, rather than one person always feeling overextended or undervalued. Now, here's a challenge for you. The next time someone requests your time, practice the Stoic art of selective availability. Take a moment to consider the value of the commitment before agreeing to it. By doing so, you are not only protecting your own well-being, but also cultivating relationships where your time is respected. As we reflect on the importance of valuing our time, it's clear that Stoicism offers us practical tools to become more valued by others. And as you've seen so far, these principles aren't just theoretical. They can be applied in your daily life to create real, meaningful change. If you're finding this discussion valuable, I encourage you to stay with me until the end of this video. By doing so, you'll gain even more insights into how Stoicism can help you build stronger, more authentic relationships and live a life of purpose and integrity. Now, let's move on to another powerful Stoic practice: maintaining an air of mystery. 4. Maintain an air of mystery. Reveal yourself, gradually to increase your value. In the age of social media and constant oversharing, we often feel compelled to put everything out in the open. Whether it's our thoughts, our experiences, or our personal lives, we are encouraged to share it all. But what if this very openness is reducing the perception of your value? Stoicism teaches us the power of discretion, of revealing ourselves thoughtfully and strategically, creating an air of mystery that naturally draws others in. Let's reflect for a moment. Why are we so fascinated by things that are hidden or unknown? Humans are naturally curious creatures, and mystery creates intrigue. When everything is laid bare, there is no room for curiosity, no space for discovery. Think about your own interactions. Do you feel more drawn to someone who shares every detail of their life up front, or to someone who reveals themselves more gradually, allowing you to uncover layers over time? Stoicism encourages us to be intentional about what we reveal and when we reveal it. This doesn't mean being secretive or evasive, but rather exercising thoughtful discretion. It's about understanding that by maintaining a sense of mystery, we can cultivate deeper and more meaningful relationships. But how do we do this, and why is it so important? Let's start with a question. How often do you find yourself oversharing, whether in conversation or online? Are there moments when you feel the need to fill every silence with details about your life? What would happen if you paused and allowed the conversation to flow more naturally, revealing only what is necessary and leaving some things unsaid? In a world where everyone is constantly sharing, those who practice restraint stand out. This is where Stoicism offers us a valuable lesson. By being more selective with what you share, you invite others to become more curious about you. They will be drawn to uncover more about you, which can lead to more authentic and meaningful connections. When you reveal everything up front, there is nothing left for others to discover, and the relationship can quickly lose its depth. Think about the relationships in your life where you feel the most valued. Are these connections built on mutual curiosity and discovery, or are they relationships where everything is already known and understood? By maintaining an air of mystery, you create space for others to engage with you more deeply, to be intrigued by who you are beyond the surface. But how do you balance being open and maintaining this sense of mystery? Stoicism teaches us the art of measured self-disclosure. It's not about hiding who you are, but about revealing yourself gradually, in layers. In conversations, rather than immediately sharing all of your thoughts or experiences, try offering only part of the story. Let others ask questions and show their interest. This creates a dynamic where others feel more engaged, and you become someone whose presence is valued and sought after. Here's another reflection. Have you ever noticed how people are more drawn to those who don't share every detail of their personal lives on social media? There is something magnetic about individuals who maintain a sense of privacy. When people can't see everything about you, they are more likely to engage with you in a way that feels authentic. Stoicism reminds us that we don't owe the world every detail of our existence. Instead, we can choose what to share and what to keep for ourselves, creating a balanced and thoughtful approach to self-disclosure. Let's bring this back to our interactions with others. By revealing ourselves slowly, we not only create intrigue, but also establish boundaries. We communicate that our inner world is something to be discovered over time, not something to be consumed all at once. This sense of self-control, this ability to govern what we share and when, reflects the Stoic principle of emotional mastery. We are not at the mercy of external pressures to share everything. Instead, we choose how much to reveal based on what feels right for us and the situation. Now, you might be asking yourself, but won't people think I'm being distant or evasive if I don't share everything right away? The key here is balance. Stoicism doesn't advocate for isolation or emotional walls, but for thoughtful, deliberate communication. When you engage in conversations, share enough to show your genuine interest in the other person and to allow them to see parts of who you are. But leave some things unsaid. Let others be curious about you. This curiosity is what deepens relationships over time. Think about it like this. Relationships are like stories. If you tell the whole story in the first chapter, there's no reason to keep reading. But if you reveal parts of the story slowly, over time, you build anticipation, intrigue, and investment. People will want to know more, and they will value the process of discovering who you are. This is where the Stoic practice of maintaining an air of mystery becomes powerful. Consider this in your next conversation or social interaction. Rather than rushing to share everything, pause. Ask yourself, what do I want to reveal in this moment? What might I hold back and allow to be discovered later? By practicing this, you are not only protecting your own sense of self, but also inviting others to engage with you in a way that feels more meaningful and respectful. As you begin to practice this form of measured self-revelation, you'll notice that people start to see you differently. They will appreciate the thoughtfulness behind your words and actions, and they will be more drawn to you because they sense there is more to you than meets the eye. Stoicism teaches us that this sense of control over what we share is a form of inner strength, an act of self-respect that naturally earns the respect of others. If you found this idea of maintaining an air of mystery intriguing, I encourage you to reflect on how you can apply it in your own life. Are there areas where you might be oversharing and losing the opportunity for deeper connection? How can you begin to practice more thoughtful self-disclosure in a way that aligns with your values and goals? As we wrap up this section, let's move on to another essential practice that helps you be more valued: allowing others to invest in you. This might seem counterintuitive, but it's a critical part of building genuine, lasting connections. Let's explore that next. 5. Allow others to invest in you, building mutual respect and deep connections. It's often said that relationships are built on give and take, but have you ever considered the importance of allowing others to give to you? In Stoicism, we learn that accepting help, advice, or even simple gestures of kindness is not a sign of weakness, but of wisdom. Allowing others to invest in you creates a dynamic of mutual respect and deepens the bond between you and those around you. Think about it. How do you feel when someone asks for your help or values your opinion? Doesn't it make you feel more connected and appreciated? When we allow others to contribute to our lives, we give them the opportunity to feel valued, and in turn, they begin to see us as important in their lives because they have invested something of themselves in us. But here's the question: are you open to receiving help, or do you often push it away in the name of independence? Many of us, influenced by modern ideals of self-sufficiency, feel uncomfortable accepting support from others. We tell ourselves that we don't want to be a burden or that we should handle everything on our own. But Stoicism reminds us that human beings are interdependent by nature and that true strength lies not in isolation, but in recognizing when we need others. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, understood this well. He taught that the act of receiving gracefully is just as important as the act of giving. When you allow others to invest in you, whether through their time, their wisdom, or their resources, you are fostering a relationship based on mutual respect. People feel more connected to those whom they have helped, and they begin to see you as a priority in their lives because they have a personal stake in your well-being. So, how can you practice this Stoic principle in your daily life? Start by being more open to receiving. The next time someone offers their help or advice, resist the urge to decline. Instead, accept it with gratitude. By doing so, you are not only honoring the other person's offer, but also strengthening the bond between you. In time, this dynamic of mutual investment will naturally lead to deeper respect and a stronger connection. Allowing others to invest in you doesn't mean you should rely on them for everything. Stoicism still teaches the importance of independence and self-reliance, but it also teaches that we are part of a greater whole and that our relationships thrive when both parties are willing to give and receive. By accepting the contributions of others, you are acknowledging that you cannot and should not do everything alone. Let's reflect on this. When was the last time someone offered to help you and you declined? What would have happened if you had accepted that help? How might the relationship have changed or deepened? Stoicism teaches us that by allowing others to contribute to our lives, we create a sense of shared purpose and mutual respect. Now, let's bring this back to your own experience. The next time someone offers to invest in you, whether it's through their time, their advice, or their assistance, pause and consider the impact of accepting that offer. By allowing them to contribute, you are not only benefiting yourself, but also strengthening the relationship. If you've enjoyed this journey through the Stoic principles of being more valued, remember that these practices are not quick fixes, but lifelong habits that require thoughtful reflection and consistent application. I encourage you to take a moment now to reflect on what resonated with you most in this video. How will you begin to apply these Stoic principles in your own life? Finally, if you've made it this far, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a comment below. Share your thoughts on how Stoicism has impacted your life or how you plan to incorporate these teachings into your daily interactions. Your insights could inspire others who are on the same path of self-improvement. Thank you for being here, and until next time, may you continue to cultivate the virtues that lead to a life of peace, wisdom, and value.